It's Wednesday, and I know it's like 10:30ish instead of 10 o'clock, but here I am. Um, and what I'm going to be doing today is I got the yeah, this looks like a macaw. This is fine. Let's do these color schemes on the dino. So I'm going to try to make this side look kind of like this side. Okay. Um, and if I recall, I painted the blue and then the yellow. If I remember correctly, that's what I did. And probably that's what I'm going to do now. And then here, I think I'm going to go back to red again. On the underneath side, kind of like the tail feathers. Let's bring the blue down a little bit further here when I get the blue paint out. So I'm going to do that. The Ford GT350 is, I don't know, I'm kind of stuck here right at the very end trying to get the stripe done because, now let me talk about that for a while. Talk about that at the beginning here. So if anyone is like watching this later on YouTube or whatever, something or other, so I got the center line down, and the idea is that I've got this other tape that's just the right width for the stripes, right? And the idea was that since I got the center line down, I could line it up on either side with this wider tape, like um, putting it right up against that tape on either side, using that as a guide, right? Just just so it's just touching, and that's going to work okay. Mainly here, for the. I mean, there's a little bits of issues with texture. It'll work here or here. Yeah, probably work okay on the front and mostly on the. Well, it's not going to work on. Yeah, it'll work okay on the front and the back. Um, I'll explain that in a bit, but it's not going to work here. The hood is going to be. This is a real challenge because let me just take a little piece of this tape so you can see what the issue is. See, the problem is here's not a problem, right? I can just put it right on up to the edge like that. I'll do it with head magnifiers. Okay. But when I get to this, the scoop, I can put it there. Okay. I mean, that's just fine there on this side. But if I, here, I'll experiment with this. I'll show you what's happening. Take it out of the box so it's easier for me to work with it. Again, this is just testing, right? This is just not the real thing. It's going to come off. So I'm doing this without the head magnifiers. So I can kind of see. The other thing is I don't have my chat screen working still. And it's still not working. So I'm not going to be able to see anybody. I can maybe see if somebody was typing, but I won't be able to read it. Okay, so that would be okay. But then it comes here. Let me show you what happens is that I put it right up against it, right? Because I want it. That's my guiding stripe. I don't want to leave a gap, and I don't want to overlap. Be precise. What happens is being off by just the tiniest little bit, even a tiny bit of not being precise, really shows up on the location of the stripe. This piece of tape isn't working anymore. Try again to show you what the problem is, because can't do that. I'm gonna have to be sure I cut the tape and don't pull it off because it bends it a little bit. See, if I push it down, it bends in, because what happens is that, well, this is raised up, and this distance, this vertical distance, has to be made up somehow, and it's made up on the horizontal distance. So what I'm thinking of doing is I want just a single piece of tape along the whole thing. Okay. I don't, even though it sort of works, I'll just show you a little bit here. Even though, I can overlap it like this if I press it down, but there's still this possibility right where it joins that could be a leaking spot. So what I want, if at all possible, is to have a single piece of tape all the way along there. So this is what I'm thinking of doing. Getting scissors. I know there's people out there who know what they're doing. Okay, they know what they're doing, and so they would say, "Well, I would just do it this way," but I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm making it up as I go along. I'm hoping that that's more entertaining for everybody. It isn't necessarily entertaining for me, but um, what I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little piece of tape right on up to the edge here, and make it so that it's exactly adjoining. Okay. Oh, don't stick. I keep finding this over and over again that it sticks to things other than what I want it to stick to, better than it sticks to what I want it to stick to. Okay. That gives me guidelines. Now I'm going to take 50 millimeter tape. I don't know if this is going to work or not. That's why I'm calling it an experiment or a test or something. So this is the idea. The idea is that the outside edge here is exactly where I want the outside of the stripe to be. And if I take this tape and I line it up exactly there, notice how it's going so well here. Yeah, this is just practice, so we don't have to get it absolutely perfect. This is coming off. Okay, so that should be the stripe. And then what I'm going to do is I don't want the overlap, right? Is I'm going to then remove my guide. Because the rest of this is stuck on. And that should be the outside of the stripe, so that if I took a piece of tape like this, this is the theory here that I'm working on. I took a piece of tape like this and I lined it up and I made it adjacent to the inside of the stripe there. Okay. And except, you know, sticking to the surface. Amazing how just putting masking tape on is such a challenge. The outside should line up, should be right on top of that. It's pretty close. Okay. There's a gap here. There's a little bit of a gap so that this is actually out further, a little further out than it should be. Yeah. So I can see that there's a little bit of the under tape showing here, but then up here, it explains it as being that it's not lined up right. It's overlapping rather than being adjacent to. Okay. So it's actually really close. I think this technique might work. The other thing I can do, see, and then I can, fill this in by putting tape up to there, okay, and then running it up over. But then this side of the tape, even though if it's a little narrower, there's an edge there. It's a line there. Well, it all just pulled up, and then I lost my guide. So this is going to be there. So the distance from the edge, I measure from the inside of this side, the right side of this tape to the right side of that tape. That will be the width of the stripe. That's too hard to read. I'll do it in 30 seconds of an inch, not 64th. Yeah, so it's 17 32nd. Okay, it's a little bit bigger than um 3/8. A little bit bigger than 3/8. It's pretty close. Yeah. So this, let's see how wide this tape actually is. Yeah, it is a 17/32. It's millimeters instead of. So this this technique, I'm almost tempted to leave this on here. Um, this should work. Yeah. Well, trim this off a little bit. I do want it to go over the edge. I want to make sure that the edge doesn't get painted. I might even fold it over a little bit. Um, I wasn't planning to do the taping today, but this looks like it's going to be okay. I don't know what that spot is. I don't want to lift the tape and find out. Hmm. It doesn't look well. I think there's sort of a little bit of an illusion, a little bit of an optical illusion from the bending here. Well, let me do it on the other side. I'll do this on the other side and see how it goes. I mean, I have to keep reminding myself it's just tape. Okay, it's just tape, and if it doesn't go well, it's not like painting didn't go well. It's just tape, and I can take it off and do it again. I keep I am continuously reminding myself of that. And you'd say, why am I using this tape as a marker? Well, because measuring and putting little pencil marks on it turns out it's not really that accurate. Is this that accurate? I don't know if it's that accurate or not, but okay. Well, okay. I am gonna put my head magnifiers in for this. It just makes it so much easier. for me to see and focus the extra light and the magnification. Yeah, it's way better with these on. I think that looks pretty decent. It's just really close enough, I think. I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to try to do this. It's almost, this is really not an easy thing to do. This needs to be right up. Okay, well, that's not too bad. Let's see what happens here. Sounds like the person we were with having come over to do some measurements is here, being enthusiastically greeted by our poodle. No, well, yeah. You're probably just seeing the top of my head there, right? Wonder where those lenses are. Yeah, I was going to look up to see if I was on camera or not. And I don't know if I was. I think this is on camera, kind of, but I think just top of my head was. So that wasn't good. Let me try this again. And you're just what you're going to see is what you're going to see. Hmm. This line, see, this line lined up really well. Taping, the taping just on the front and the back. But on this side, it's too far over. Just the slightest bit too wide. If you can see it, it's just it's a noticeably large amount. So that has to be redone. Yeah, it was like this side, the tape just matches up. It just matches really well. Um, except for here where it was off, but on this side, it was the tape was too far over that way. So I need to redo it. But that's okay. That's why I'm doing it's tape. I keep reminding myself, and I'm reminding myself yet again that, that it's tape and that it's a straightforward thing. You just take it off and retape it. It is easier with these magnifiers on. I can see way better what I'm doing, or sometimes in this case, failing to do, right? That happens a lot on this stream. It's not so much what gets done, it's what fails. It's the failure that's entertaining. Okay, try this again. It, it really helps to have all sorts of stuff in the way. Just keep that in mind. Is that nothing makes your work easier than having a mess everywhere. Yeah, it's a mess. I'll try this again, and we'll we will see together how well it works. See me knocking the scissors off. Yeah, just, oh yeah, that's good. All the old excess tape got stuck to this tape. Mm, very nice. Very nice mess. Put on. Tape is stuck to my finger. Yeah, that's much, much better. Yeah, that matched up just right. Yeah, okay. And the scoop there is an issue. I hope that doesn't become a problem. The tape tore. Okay, so what happens next, after I trim this a little bit, is guiding guiding tape, the guidance tape down the center comes off. Oh yeah, that's an issue. There is a problem there. We'll have to fix that. Right at the front of the scoop. I was kind of afraid that that would be a problem, and it is. Now, that might require a touch up later. I don't know. You, I don't know if you can see it. You probably can even, but right here, there is a tiny little gap, little bitty gap, um, in a difficult spot. And this is where I didn't want overlapping tape, but there's no choice. There needs to be overlapping tape here. No, I don't want a double overlap. So this thing I put on, this little piece of tape I put on to try to fix the problem, and it didn't. And now it would actually cause a bigger problem. Looks like this is in the middle of things. There's a tiny little spot that's not covered. And that would turn blue and it would be a blue spot there. I just want it covered. Oh, it's on the other side too. Okay. Sorry for being quiet. I'm discovering little flaws, and it doesn't show much now, but I can be pretty certain that after it's painted, the blue contrasting with the white will be a real problem. But just like the tape tore here when I, you know, attached it to the scoop part, same thing is happening here on this side. Okay, I think that'll be okay. Well, you can see what's supposed to happen here. Okay? What you can see is that there is a blue strip down the middle here. And then, well, it's not blue, it's white now. But you can see where the stripe is supposed to be, because that's where the tape is. So, for better or worse, this is actually ready to be painted. Um, so I guess I need to do that either later today or tomorrow. And since this is ready to be painted, I might as well do the rest of this, right? Why not? I wasn't planning to do this today. I was planning to not do this today because I thought, well, I don't know. There's storms last night, and I'm feeling achy and a little grumpy, so this won't go very well. But that went okay. This thing I decided to try to make it worked. So that was kind of a nice, pleasant surprise. We'll find out if it works though after paint goes on it. That's the real test. Is what happens when there's paint on it. Yeah. No dialogue, no monologue today. It sounds like. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like I'm not talking because I'm doing this taping thing, and I'm very glad that I put the head magnifiers on because that is making it hugely easier. But, okay, that's the part that shows the most. So this is a pretty important piece of, of masking. There's this ridge here. I want to make sure that that's. I guess the rear deck here is the next most challenging part. I'm having visions of this going badly at some point and then having to reprime and start over. You think that'll happen? There's a chance. There's a chance that this could get really messed up in the painting process. See this, there's this license plate holder, but as I suspected, it turns out not to be a problem because um, it's kind of indented. I'm not sure. I might have to a little piece of tape underneath it. There's a decal that goes on there at the end of everything. the paper towel was getting in the way because the tape was sticking to it. So I just flicked it up and, pretty much just sent everything flying. The middle stripe off here. Before I paint this, I'll be making sure that the tape is really, really solidly on there. Yeah, it's close. It's a little bit off. Okay. I mean, this stripe is a little further away from center than this stripe. I don't think anyone's going to notice that. It's a tiny, you can probably see it. Okay. You can see that this tape is over the hole a little bit and this is away. So this whole thing needs to be kind of like a 64th of an inch over to the side, but I'm not going to try to do that. See, it's right here. This is right on the mark. Okay. And there's a chrome bumper that goes across here. Something goes across there on the back. I can't remember what now. There's some big holes there. Where's the instructions? I'm just making a mess of things again. Making more messes of things. And what does, oh, okay. Okay, so the tail lights go here and here. And the gas filler goes here. And it might look, it's just the tiniest little bit. I can't fix that without having it making a problem. Okay, well, it's just not going to be noticed. I can say that without the head magnifiers on, it's not going to be noticeable. It really isn't. Do the bits up here in front. There's not very much of it, but it's lumpy. Okay, there's windshield wipers in the way, and Just makes it difficult to get it to adhere correctly because of the contours. Not the contours. Well, I guess they are because of the yeah. And the windshield wipers will be hopefully authentically painted with silver paint and black paint. Make them look like, metallic arms with rubber blades on them. So I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing that I'm actually getting this taping done today. I wasn't planning on it. I was planning to just work on a dinosaur because that would be a low risk painting kind of thing. And this is the taping, the masking part is low risk. The painting part that comes after this is very high risk. I mean, it is. It's just very high risk because if it goes badly, the whole model will be bad. It looked like they were off a little bit, but it's just the way the light's reflecting. Yeah, it's actually pretty decent in terms of being centered. Okay, here's a test. Test is if I can find the hood, there it is. Do these line up? This is going to go on here later. Yeah, they do. I mean, it's not bad. This one is actually a little crooked. Mm. And then just this little bit in the front, right? Right. What can go wrong? Everything can go wrong. I'll give it a try. So, um, not much of this ends up showing. There's a chrome bumper and it's just some of these. It's just awkward. Protrusions. think that's where the bumper goes in, right along this channel here. I'm not sure. I'm gonna do some, I'm not sure what to do with that. I think I'll need to get the bumper out and see where it goes, because blue paint is gonna get underneath there into that channel. And I'm not sure if that's okay or not. I'm talking about is this thing here. Okay, well, let me take the bit of center off. See, this is okay here and here, and it'll be okay on the bumper here. It should be okay. But I don't know if you can see it, as I say, even on camera. Not really. I should move this up a little bit. You can see there's this channel here. There's a deep indent under where the grill goes. And when I paint this blue, okay, the parts that are masked will stay white. That's the intent anyway. But blue paint is going to get underneath there. Let me see if I can find the front bumper. Doesn't work. Here. It's not it. It's the rear. Okay. Well, I have to be careful not to step on that. Okay. Try not to step on that when I get down to pick it up. So this goes like this. It goes go in there. It goes right underneath it. Yeah, that's a problem. Let me get the bumper before I step on it and break it. That would be really not good at all. Okay. Well, this isn't where I expected to have such a problem. Um, this deep inset here. The bumper goes underneath it. And if I spray this now, blue paint will get all over underneath this tape. Okay, and that would not be good. So I'm going to attempt to, I guess I have to attempt to get the tape in there. Where's my good tweezers? Here they are. Muttered to myself. I need the toothpicks. There they are. I need to push the tape. Tape needs to go all the way down in there. Nice breaking tooth. And it doesn't want to do that because what it's doing is it's sticking here on the top. Not going down. It's sticking. I want it to stick there, but not now. I dislike doing this. Okay. But I don't have a choice, I don't think. I have to do this in two parts. Maybe even three. Yeah, of all things, it's this crevice that is causing a problem. It's not perfectly aligned with the rest of it, but that it's going to be pretty much invisible. Sorry. Sorry about this. It's just really not, um, not an easy thing to do. It's a very, very small spot. I don't wanna rip the tape. It needs to go in there as well as I can get it with this toothpick tool. Okay. Well, that kind of worked. I need to tape here. Um, I don't know if the stripe continued actually inside the car like this. You know what I mean? Is like into the engine compartment, but it is going to on my model. Really, this is taking longer. I thought the hood was going to be a problem, but no, that wasn't the problem. This is the problem. It's the front of the car because of all the twisties, twisty things on it. Little, this whole front of the car thing is just, there we go. It's out of the way now. It's pretty amazingly difficult. Well, it's just going to be a little, it's just going to be twisted. It's not quite perfect, but I can't do any better. Okay. Well, that was a chore. I hope it works. Well, I'll find out after it's painted, I guess. Now I need to get the same thing here. A little piece of tape pushed down deep into that grid, that chasm. And as I discovered, it's not easy because the tape wants to stick to things where I don't want it, and doesn't stick to where I do. I would say so far. Yeah, sorry. This is actually almost worse than some of the detail painting that happens in terms of just frustration level. That works better, kind of pushing it from the outside. I mean, if it gets mushed up, if there's tape mushed up in there, that's not a problem. It's just getting it in there so that it masks the spot that needs to be masked. Oh, that'll be okay. Um, I think a little issue down here where the bumper is going to go. Okay, well, there there are stripes now. These awkward, you know, yellow stripes are where the white paint is going to remain white. And everything else is going to be blue, so that this is going to be a blue car with white stripes. And I'm going to just set this aside along with the hood. And if I get brave, I have to, because there's no choice. Eventually it has to be done. I will spray paint blue paint, multiple very thin coats. Okay, probably 3 coats of light coats each time, little bits of paint each time, and hopefully it will create a fairly smooth finish. But if I do know that if I put too much paint on, like if I say, oh, that didn't cover, and then I just spray more paint on it without letting it dry in between, it'll saturate the tape a little bit and then seep under the edges and mess up the whole point of masking. Because masking is not so much keeping paint from slipping in under the tape as just covering the area so when the spray hits it, it doesn't hit underneath the tape. If that made any sense? I don't know if that was coherent or not, but it is to the point now where I just need to put blue paint on it and hope for the best. And then after that, there's all sorts of other difficult things to do, like painting the metallic trim around the windows without messing it up too much. Yeah. So the real problem with the spray paint is that touching up with it is really difficult because the solvent in it dissolves the acrylic paint, whereas the acrylic paint solvent doesn't dissolve the acrylic paint. If that makes any sense. Probably didn't make any sense, but I might end up having to touch up with a different color and just, you know, hope that it doesn't show much. Well, the taping happened anyway, the masking, and the masking is, I'd say, pretty good. It's pretty good. And now it's getting the blue paint on there and hoping that I don't get impatient and that I just put on multiple light coats, very light coats, so that the masking tape doesn't get saturated. And if it does, then it will leak underneath, and then I will just have a mess. Okay, that was an adventure. What is it? Almost noon. Okay, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to paint the blue on the other side of this. Okay, make it look kind of symmetric, and then yeah, we'll just see if I can get the blue on. I might want to bring the blue down. Bring the blue down just a little bit further, and then it's going to be red under here. But since I'll have the blue out, I'll be able to do that. So get some painting done. We're going to get some painting done on the dinosaur. I think this is the color I used. Yeah, royal blue. I'm going to do the modifications to this side first. Including touching up the spots that didn't get painted. Okay, and then yeah, paint the other side, kind of. And then the yellow is going to come in here. I talked with Nicole about what to do with the legs. And she said, well, if you're trying to make it look like a macaw, then you take a look at the macaw legs and they're just kind of a sandy brownish kind of color. You could just do the same thing there. And so that's what I might just do that. I can tell that two sides are not going to be like exactly alike, but you don't look at both sides at the same time, right? Yeah, and it's kind of unhelpfully not because it's walking, it's not symmetric anyway. This little dino was pretty much what this was doing was filling in the time when I was avoiding masking and working on the GT350. And as I was trying not to do that, because this is the part where it could get really messed up. Okay, the painting bit. So this is just kind of a fun project. This is a original Jurassic Park model from like 1993 or something. I don't know that this particular kit is that old. It might not be, but um, I bought four of them when they came out after the movie, and one was a T Rex and one was the Velociraptor. And the other one was the spitter thing. I forget what the name of that is. Starts with a D. That was my first excursion into filling in seams. I used auto body putty, I think. Okay, well, it's fairly symmetric, I think. Need to get a bunch of yellow in here now. I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. I learned a lesson on the other side of this. You can see it here, and it's okay. Is that the yellow paint, the blue paint wasn't drying, so the yellow paint blended and made it kind of greenish, which is actually fine. Well, I gave myself like way too much blue paint. I guess that will be wasted. Oh, there's a lot of paint there. I don't know why that got so thick. Okay, well, uh, things progress on the scarlet macaw Stegosaurus. That's what this is. On camera, no. My production quality has not been good lately. So, camera director combo is not competent. That is to say, me as director, and camera person not very good at keeping things on camera. Nope, nope, nope. Or apparently maintaining any semblance of a monologue that is even slightly interesting. Okay. Um, while I'm waiting for that blue paint to dry, which takes longer than it should, it just doesn't dry as fast as some of the others. I'm going to take a look at what I can do for the legs. You can't see them very well. They're kind of gray. You can see they're kind of brownish gray, like maybe deck tan. You can't see that either. Maybe deck tan with a gray wash on it. That might work. I'm thinking the deck tan is a better color than say the neutral gray. I could try it. I could try it on one of the legs. and see how it goes. I think that's better than I could do the dark sand with a wash. Tell you what, I'm actually going to do some testing. I'm going to try if I can find these dark sand and deck tan. If I can find those paints and they're still working, I'm going to just do a test patch on a piece of paper like this. Okay, and then it goes. Try that too. Khaki? Khaki's too dark, I'm pretty sure. Sorry. Thick tan, dark sand. Can't find any of those. Not finding any of them. I'm knocking paints over all over. Like what the heck? I don't even remember which manufacturer I. Why not? I am looking for deck tan and something yellow. Seriously, I can't remember if they were which manufacturer they were. There's lots of browns. What was I thinking again? Where would I have put that? I think I bought that for the Savoya. Where would it have gone? Well, you're watching me flounder. I don't know where those colors went. I'm pretty sure that I used those on the Savoya. I don't know why they have disappeared. Well, I have to just keep looking. Like dark sand. Is it dark? Okay, it's dark sand, but I can't find the deck tan, which I think is the one I really want. which is this kind of grayish, slightly greenish color. Well, this is annoying. It's probably annoying to you too. Just me flipping around. You can't see what I'm looking at even because it's way over here off camera. Metallics. I wonder if I put it up here somewhere. I'll be right back. Hmm. Well, I'm not going to have a very good time testing that color for the legs if I can't find it. I mean, how can I test it if I don't have it, right? And I don't know where it went. Go way in the back. I'm sorry. What can I say? I'm looking for a specific color that I bought for a very specific reason. It's one of the models I built, and now I can't find it anywhere. It's kind of just this grayish green color. Well, I'm gonna just not do that. I can't test it. I can't find it. Not that I don't have tons of little jars and bottles of paint scattered all over the place here, scattered everywhere. Hmm. No, maybe I'll find it. I'm gonna just do these. Why not do something, right? That didn't sound good. I know it looks like dark sand, but it's dark sand. Desert yellow. This is khaki. And this should be deck tan. If I ever find it, that's where it's going to go. So, um, what I'll do is put some swatches of paint on here and then try different washes on them to see how they look. I wonder if that was like one of the colors that went bad. Sometimes they sit in the bottle for a while and then the solvent evaporates and then end up with paint that doesn't cover. I mean, that might have been what happened to it. I don't, I don't remember. It was one of the original colors. It does date back a while. As I'm stirring the paint, I'm still looking around and still searching my little container of deck tan. There's a couple of spots I haven't checked yet. We'll probably make an effort to check them. This paint got used a lot on the Savoia. It was the color of the inside of the fuselage, which was supposed to look like wood. Desert yellow. I'm not sure why, but it worked okay. The inside of the fuselage ended up looking okay. And then the khaki paint was used on tiny little bits of Porco Rosso's flight suit. I don't know why I bought such a big jar of it, but I did. Looking looking for the can paint. Okay, well, I'm just searching here for that. But I think it was a Tamiya paint, not a VA hull. Don't remember. I'm just thinking it was. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Weird. Um, there. I was stirring the khaki paint. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try different, just a couple of different washes on the paint. Gray, dark gray, and maybe brown. I'm not sure. So this might not be too bad. It's not going to be as good as the deck tan that I can't find. And of course, what I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to let them pile up here, so that they're in the way and I can knock them over from time to time, because that's the way I fail to keep my work surface clean. And as you know, my New Year's resolution last year was to stop saying a certain word, and I did. Pretty good job. And this year, I'm going to try to not say another word. They're not bad words. They were just repetitive words. I just kept saying them for no particular reason. They just kept, you know, they were just like fillers. But last year I made a second resolution to keep my work surface clean. And then I didn't. And so this year I'm repeating that resolution. And so far, and failing. I'm failing at it. Okay, well, I'm going to put the yellow on here now. I think the blue paint is dried probably enough to be able to just put the yellow on. The yellow is going to go where the white is. And I'm going to try to, match it kind of with the other side. I should try to ban, I started saying that instead of the other frequently said pointless words that I've been trying not to say because they don't do anything but fill in the space. But yeah, I probably should. Okay, the yellow paint needs to come up to here. Okay, that was just, I got distracted a little bit and then put the brush in the blue paint. Yeah, it was really kind of, that was just sad. In between here, not make too much of a mess like I just did. I really didn't want that to be yellow. Sometimes it's possible to wipe the paint off before it, while it's still wet like that. Make an effort to correct an error that way. I just got you know un, uncareful. I got uncareful there. Yeah, that needs to come off here too. I got blue paint on there. Huh, that was that was interesting. I did that and I didn't stick my finger that I know of at least in the wet paint. I don't think I did. Oh, well, I also didn't hold on to it very well, did I? Well, this looks like like a painted plastic model, not like a dinosaur, but there. Um, so the rest of this is going to get painted red underneath here and then the back of the tail. And I've got spots here and there where the red paint needed touching up anyway, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to drop it, let it roll around, get messed up. I'm going to do the red paint, and then um, probably, I probably should just stop because it. Oh, that's good. Because I'm starting to just drop things, and yeah, it's 12:30 already. It's about the time I do that, and I can't hold on to something, and I drop it, and yeah, that mess, that kind of a mess thing. So between now and Friday, I need to get brave and spray paint the body of the GT350. I can't keep avoiding it forever. I mean, I probably could. I could probably keep avoiding it for a while yet. Need a little more blue paint here, but it does need to be done. Otherwise, the model will never be completed, and it would just be one of those things that sits on the shelf going, I almost finished that model, but then I chickened out and decided not to try to paint it because I was afraid I would mess it up, and I knew I would mess it up because that's what I do. But I just need to do it. I just need to say it's got to get done. So let's get it done. And if it's messed up, then try to correct it. And if it can't be corrected, then um, reprime it and start over. I guess that's kind of how it has to go. Ooh, hand cramp. I haven't had one of those in a while. That was a relatively frequent hazard of doing this, is that I would cramp up because I'm not being hydrated. I'm just touching up some spots here that need to be touched up before I paint the bottom. Otherwise, I'm going to forget to do the touch up, and then I'll go, I really should have just touched those up when I have the paint out. And then I didn't. Okay, this has to be, need to be painting this on the bottom here. I'm moving the brush back and forth in kind of a weird way, but it's a very pebbly surface. And so the paint, I need to do that. I've discovered to get the paint to get into the pebbly bits. So the plates on the back and the spines, I'm going to be painting with red speed paint, which is a little bit darker red than this, and it will highlight the ridges on the plates. And then I'm not sure what else I might be doing with this. I might try to wash it with like a light gray wash, to bring out all the texture of the skin that the model maker went through the trouble of molding. I might just do that. To be seen kind of situation. And then I need to remember to set this down upside down. Put Set it down upside down, because the bottom of the tail has got wet paint all over it. Getting paint from the side of the brush on everything. Fortunately, that's all going to be painted a darker shade of red, and so that it'll pretty much disappear. It'll just look like maybe a spot of discoloration. That's what I'm counting on anyway. Counting 1, 2, 3, counting on that being the case. So just looking for the mist spots like that. Yeah, I'll probably spend a fair amount of time going over this whole thing before I put a wash on it. Just touching up little bits here and there. Okay, well, it's I think I successfully captured the Scarlet Macaw look uh, as much as one can with a Stegosaurus. I need to paint the legs, and then need to decide how much more I want to mess around with, you know, feathering or edging or whatever with the colors. I'm pretty satisfied with the color pattern. I think the color pattern looks, I think it looks macawish. I'll just set. No. Oh, that was bad. I almost did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do, which is set it down right side up so that the wet paint would be on the bottom and stick to the paper. Yeah, there. Um, what I would really like to do is find that color of paint that I was looking for, the deck tan paint. This wants, it's okay. I would really like to do that. I'd really like to find that color. I think it would work well on the legs. So I'm going to, that's kind of, move this over so you can see that. Yeah, but the legs are kind of this grayish, pretty much gray. But I think gray would, I'd like something a little less than just gray. I'd like it to be maybe a little greenish, like maybe the khaki color. Okay, I'm going to be cleaning the brush here. Yeah, set that down. I haven't had a sip of coffee this whole time. Sitting there. No wonder I'm feeling a little draggy. Um, what I'd really like to do is find that color of paint that I can't find. That can paint. I'm continuing to look for it. I'm just kind of reaching around. Is this it? Right there. It was right in front of my face the whole time. Well, it wasn't. It was over there, but it was in an obvious place. So, do the color swatch here. I hope it was worth the effort of me wandering around all over the universe trying to find this paint. No, it's not going to work with the brush still having red paint in it. I'm going to just grab a different brush and then give that a very thorough cleaning. Um, yeah, you can see, give that brush a very thorough cleaning because there's still red paint in it, which mixed with this, and you can see the reddish, the readiness, the redness of it. Yeah, so this one might look pretty good. So I'm going to just set it over here with the rest of the paints so that they're in the way and I can knock them over. Okay, what I'm going to try is the isopropyl alcohol first, and then if that doesn't work, I'll pull out the lacquer thinner. Oh, there's all sorts of blue spots, yeah, where the paint didn't cover. The, the blue paint that's still in the palette here, that is too dry to use. There's skin over it, so maybe I don't know, maybe not. Let me just get lazy here. Yeah, it's really gummy. I don't know if I should, but I'm going to. This is just I'm just making a mistake, like I usually do near the end of a stream. It's like, why not make a big mistake? Hmm? Why not screw things up when they're almost okay? Hmm? Why not? No, I mean it was okay. I was touching up some spots that where the paint hadn't covered. You know, I'm sure I'll find more. Yeah, upside down again. Okay, well, these test swatches, I'm going to test them with different washes. I think they're dry, actually. I think I might just do that now. I've got metallic paint. I've got a brown wash I could try. Dark gray. I think that'll be too dark. Gray. I actually even have a green. I have no idea how that would look. I'm gonna find out. I'm going to try. I'm gonna definitely try gray and brown. I don't need to label the dark gray. It's just gonna be dark. Let me try these first. Let me use this brush. This is a good brush for washes. I have really, really cluttered up the work surface here. This is just horrible mess. Yeah, I have made a horrible mess. But oh well. I will need to make an effort pretty soon to clean this up. Maybe I should clean it down. Why do I used to say clean it up? I don't know. It's kind of an odd thing, isn't it, to say clean it up? Talked about that before. We just have these weird phrases. Clean it up, put it down, and directions in that don't make sense. Okay, this is just a dark gray. It is like the gray, but it has more pigment in it. And it might look okay, or it might just turn everything kind of black like it's doing here. Yeah. I mean, you can sort of see the undertone, but I don't know. It might be okay. Well, I'll let those dry, and then I'll check with Nicole and see what she thinks. I'm kind of liking this, the deck 10 with the gray wash. I'm thinking that might be the one that works. All right, what I'm going to do here is attempt to clean this brush, a little more than it is. And I'm going to call it a day. And my plan, my hope is to paint the PT350, the body of that between now and Friday. Whoa, okay, and then spill a mug of coffee all over the place. I'm gonna attach it here because I don't want it to be blown around. The spray can blow it away. So I like to tape it to like a piece of cardboard that doesn't get blown away quite as much. And then the other one, body, that's a different story. Of course, of a different color. Okay, that will do. I've got this block of wood, and I've got ah, chunks of tape on the top. And the idea is that since the bottom of that is covered in tape, it's okay to have tape touch tape. Okay, an okay thing is that it will kind of stick to this. And then I can hold it and spray like the back, okay, and the sides, on the underside of the sides, and like that, and it is supposed to not fall off. The idea is for it to not fall off, and well, find out. So yeah, this is all supposed to be blue, and when I take the tape off, there will be beautiful white stripes on it, or not, or not. That is a thing that we will all discover together probably on Friday when I unmask this stuff. So thanks for watching. I'll be back on Friday, probably, maybe a little late, maybe a little early, probably a little late. And see you then. Oh, yeah. Dyson Dungeons. Watch our Dungeons and Dragons show. It is really, really cool. Go to patreon.com/Dyson Dungeons, become a patron. Um, help me buy another bottle of paint so I can find it next time I look for it. And take care. See you all later. Bye. Oh, thanks for joining in chat, but my chat screen isn't working. I can't see what you said. I'm sorry. See you on Friday.